Sometimes it's just not possible to find an ensemble to read your piece when you need to make a recording for a call for scores, festival submission, or to do a film score mockup. What's a composer to do? Use virtual instruments, that's what. There are a number of virtual instrument libraries out there, and we'll look at a few of them later. But before we do, let's start with the all-important pre-planning stage that will make your realization sound more realistic. Panning, volume, and reverb. Picture a symphony orchestra in your head. Where are all of the instruments located? You may be off on one or two of these, but the point is that they're not all in the center, and neither should your panning be. The instruments in a symphony take up a full 180 degrees in the stage and a good deal of space from front to back as well. Panning will give you the right to left orientation, but how do we deal with front to back? The easy way is to adjust the volume. Historically, the symphony has been laid out so that all instruments can be heard, so balancing the volume between tracks is a must. This isn't to say that there won't be times that the back of the orchestra comes to the forefront, though. There are always exceptions when the brass section blasts out over pianissimo strings. But in general, everything needs to be heard at the same level when it's piano and at the same level when it's forte. Balance your volume in addition to your panning. Finally, let's talk reverb and where it goes. There are a number of reverb types in Ableton, and each has a number of presets. The basic reverb effect is fine for most things, but if you really want an in-the-hall feel, you'll need to use convolution reverb, which uses impulse response algorithms to produce a more accurate reverb than you'd otherwise hear. This is available only in the Live Suite version. But in any case, the reverb needs to be applied the same across all members of an ensemble. So where do you put it? On the master channel. Doing that will apply reverb to everything at once so that it sounds pretty good, but it doesn't sound perfect. Sometimes this isn't enough. Some instruments are closer to you and thus will have less reverb in an actual hall. So what can you do? You can use a return track to host the reverb, then send individual channels to it with the send knobs. The instruments that are closer to the front, say violins and cellos, will have less of a send percentage than instruments in the back. But you're still going to want to be careful of overdoing it. Using a 14-second delay time at 100% on the percussion, but 0% on the violins is gonna sound pretty terrible. Go with small values. The idea is to place the instruments in a real sounding space, not designing a space that defies the laws of physics in some sort of Lovecraftian horror show.